Giant reacts and ting and ting and ting. I'm Mr. Giant, back with another one for all you. And this one is called Top 10 Thing Canadians Would Like You to Know. So without keeping you all waiting and ting, let's YouTube and simmer and see what this is all about.
Friendly Country has some fun facts to share. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things Canadians want you to know. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking to clarify Canadian stereotypes, correct misconceptions, or generally gush about things that we think you should know about this North American country.
I'm Canadian.
Number 10. It's not winter all the time. When many people think of Canada, they picture blizzards and polar bears. And don't forget the stereotype that all Canadians live in igloos.
My good friend Nantuck and I would build an igloo to protect ourselves from polar bears and flying hockey pucks.
While it's true that Canadian winters can be intense and long, Canada does warm up during the summer months. Igloos would be pretty useless.
There are many ways to describe the summer of 2012. Hot, dry, extreme. But if you're feeling the burn, consider it a unifying Canadian experience.
Like in many other countries, Canadian seasons are varied and unique.
Ooh.
Visit in the summer or fall, and you'll be surprised at just how warm it can get, especially in the southern part of the country. Though one thing is certainly true, visiting Montreal in the winter can get a little slippery. Number 9, Toronto.
See, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think of Canada as this frozen tundra, and I guess it's because coming from the Caribbean and most people migrating from the Caribbean to Toronto, you hear about the seasons changing there, you know what I mean? If anything, I didn't think of it as getting extremely cold. I didn't, because I didn't know about that half of the country or so where a lot of the spaces are so cold it's unlivable. I didn't think of Canada as hot and wintry and cold. I thought of Russia more so being so than Canada.
Is not the capital of the country. While there is a joke that they like to consider themselves the center of the universe, contrary to popular belief, Toronto is not the capital of Canada.
So, you guys doing anything fun while you're in town?
Fun. In Toronto.
It is, however, the largest city in Canada by population, and the 4th largest in North America, just above Chicago. The title of Canadian capital goes to the much smaller and quieter Ottawa.
How did we end up with Ottawa? So it is the capital of Canada.
A lovely city dedicated mainly to being the center of government. Much like Washington, D.C., Ottawa often gets mocked for being boring.
Suburban Ottawa is great. It has everything Brooklyn does.
Really?
Yes! Other than my job and my friends, my family, you, interesting people, museums, restaurants.
While not as exciting as Toronto, perhaps, Ottawa's charms are still not to be missed.
Ottawa! The Paris of Central Canada.
Number 8.
See, I would like to visit there. The operative words there is quiet, and it looks kind of a large, quaint, if you want to. The architecture looks impeccable, so I would definitely want to visit there and see what it's like. Not to mention it's the capital of Canada, and that's usually the hub of everything that's going on government-wise and things like that. So, I wonder if it's as multicultural as Toronto. Comment down below. Tell me if Ottawa is as multicultural as Canada. To all the Canadian people and them. Comment down below. Let me know.
Canadian invented basketball. Believe it or not, it was the Canadian James Naismith, a McGill University graduate, who invented this popular sport back in 1891.
Know that.
Naismith was a phys ed teacher at the YMCA International Training School in Springfield, Massachusetts. He struggled with a class of students who were disobedient and short-tempered due to being stuck inside all day thanks to a harsh winter. He resolved to create an indoor game to keep the students distracted, and that would help them stay in shape. The end result was basketball.
100 years after James Naismith from Almont, Ontario invented it, basketball was being played by hundreds of millions of people around the world.
Is it me, or does America seem to like steal Canadian sports and and make it their own and make the world think that they are the inventors of these sports? And isn't hockey one that was pretty much originated in Canada? Correct me if I'm wrong. Comment down below. But they seem to like snatch it up and everybody think, well, it's the hub now. Of course, money have a lot to do with it. When you could pay people big money to play a sport, more so than other places, it becomes the hub of said sport. You know what I mean? Let's get back to this.
7. Canadian bacon is just ham.
There's bacon. Canadian bacon.
Yep, that's right. The term Canadian bacon is actually one made up by Americans. In Canada, it's known as back bacon, which is a far more accurate term, but really it's just ham. Just look at it. Does that really look like bacon? No.
No.
And Canada agrees.
If ham's Canadian bacon, then what the hell do you call bacon?
Canadians take their bacon seriously, and as such, the fact that Canada has come to be associated with this term borders on being offensive to the Canadian culinary world. In all seriousness, real Canadian bacon is excellent if you live south of the border. So if you want a real taste of Canadian bacon, you'll just have to make the trip.
I
We
will.
highly recommend the maple glazed variety.
No! You gave me Canadian bacon instead of bacon? This misdeed cannot go unpunished.
Number 6. Tim Hortons isn't our only national coffee chain. Sure, when you're in the mood for a quick double-double or a box of Timbits, Timmy's is a great place to stop.
Thanks for the free donuts.
Just donuts, okay? They're like 2 for a loony.
But it's not Canada's only coffee chain, or even its best. Second Cup is another of Canada's national coffee chains, and some would argue it's much better, albeit typically more expensive.
Is that your second cup of coffee?
Third. Why?
You could also try Montreal-based Van Hoot, which has cafes across the province of Quebec. While competitive pricing, amazing marketing campaigns, and its place in pop culture has made Tim Hortons the reigning champ, you still got options. Plus, we even have Starbucks.
Oh, this coffee is excellent.
Number 5. We have 2 official languages.
My friend in Canada who got married way too young, they had to do their vows twice, once in French.
They speak French there too? God, that place is a mess.
The history of Canada is shaped by both the English and the French, with the two both laying claim to parts of the land until the 7 Years' War, at the end of which France ceded its colony to the English. Thanks to the policies of official bilingualism enacted in the 20th century, both languages are protected and represented today.
If it's Canada, just say the word. And then say it again in French.
These policies ensure that citizens can be served by the federal government in both languages, and politicians seeking to lead the country typically learn both French and English.
Oh, wow.
Leadership is about bringing people of all different perspectives together. Je veux aussi rendre hommage à Thomas Mulcair.
While most of the francophone population lives in Quebec, there are many French-speaking communities across Canada, including a large one in New Brunswick.
Quebec.
I tell you what, dude, there's a very, very large population of Hispanics or Spanish-speaking people in this country. And I wonder what would happen if a person who is running for an American president do a speech, not just to a Hispanic group, but to the country, say something in English and then say something in Spanish. Boy, I bet there would be a vicious uproar. Massive uproar. Not by everybody, but by some people. Oh, they'd be like, this is America. Or how they say, this is America. We speak English over here. Because I speak English, and I would like to think I speak the Queen's English. But I've been told before that I need to learn to speak proper English or to speak English. I've gotten that before. Let's keep going here.
Fine. That leaves the rest of Canada under my jurisdiction, with the possible exception of some areas of New Brunswick.
Number 4. Canada is pretty progressive. Compared to our neighbors, it often seems like Canada is lauded for being a progressive paradise.
When I think about Canada, I actually think of progressive.
While it has its own share of social problems and debates, it is true that most of the fights on social issues that take such precedence in the American media have been solved in Canada. This is due in large part to stark differences between Canadian and American culture. Access to abortion is almost a non-issue. Gay marriage has been legal since 2005, and even the Conservative Party doesn't oppose it.
The strongest evidence for genuinely demonstrating a domestic partnership is to take a quick drive on up to Canada and legitimize your relationship.
Legitimize?
Get married.
There are still many problems in Canada, and it's by no means a progressive utopia. But the country should be proud of all the progress it's already made.
We should move to Canada.
Number 3. Not all police officers are Mounties. Those officers dressed in red suits and great big hats are members of the RCMP, or the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Your cops are called Mounties.
While Canada does indeed use Mounties on the federal level, cities and municipalities use regular police officers, as they do in most countries. Mounties enforce federal laws and will work closely with the provinces and municipalities in order to accomplish their goals. And their tasks include dealing with organized crime, drug trafficking, and border control, among many other federal offenses. So, yes, Canada does have Mounties, but no, they don't go around solving crimes on horseback. And the country does rely heavily on municipal police forces as well. Also, Mounties don't always dress like that either.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land.
Number 2, healthcare isn't free. It's paid for by taxes.
Dad, no, it says don't walk.
Doesn't matter. They have free healthcare.
Often when talking about the great things in Canada, free healthcare is brought up, but that term is a bit of a mischaracterization. Healthcare in Canada isn't somehow free. That'd make no sense. It's just paid for by taxpayer dollars, because access to universal healthcare services is considered a right in Canada.
Canada? What, is everyone going to have access to universal health care so no one has to choose between going bankrupt and treating a life-threatening illness?
While some arguments persist about the best way to design and maintain a program of universal healthcare, and there are still complaints that Canada's system lags behind those in European countries, the large majority of Canadians agree that it's been incredibly beneficial, and that healthcare is a great use of tax money.
Here's the health care.
Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Real maple syrup. I hate that bagel kind.
What's the bad about being Canadian?
Your milk comes in bags. Bags.
So yeah, apparently ketchup is so hot in Canada that they just threw the artificial flavoring all over the chips here.
Number 1. Not everyone has that stereotypical accent.
There's not going to be any fight without Scott Riles and the incredibly polite Canadian news team.
Yeah! Sorry about that, eh? While the accent does exist, it's more common in rural areas. And even then, people in the Maritimes and Newfoundland have their own distinct accent.
They sometimes have a funny way of saying things like a boot.
And the way they say about.
Which sounds like, what's that? A boot?
The majority of Canadians you meet, who will likely be from the big cities, don't talk with that accent. In fact, they sound very similar to Americans from big cities.
You did a weird thing for Canadian melodrama.
What a weird thing for girls who say a boot.
We will concede that Canadians do say the word a lot, but it's often misused by those mocking Canada.
I moved here from Canada and they think I'm slow, eh?
A is another way of saying right or, you know, at the end of a sentence. Not a random word we just interject in the middle of conversations. Bet you learned something new today, eh?
Come on, what do we look like? Rookies? Sorry.
Do you agree?
You know, that was interesting. I mean, you see how people are in the introduction of my videos, I say and ting and ting and ting. That's kind of like a, you know. The only difference is I think everybody on the island use it. Now, the fact that people think that that's the way all Canadians sound is kind of a funny, because even on the island we have different accents from the city dwellers to the countryside and thing, you know what I mean? So as small as Grenada is, you know, we still have them differences, you know. And in America, like the people here, they don't sound like the people when I lived in New York or when I lived in Detroit. It's all different and thing, you know, and a lot of people don't understand that. But I guess that's the way things are, man. I enjoy that. Most of these are new. Some of them was kind of new to me. You understand what I'm saying? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video with me. And if you did, drop a like on the video for me, alright? You know, so that YouTube will put it out there and more people would see it, you know, because this is a learning journey. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. The more people that watch these videos and comment on these videos, the more I learn, the more we learn together about each other without the argument and the fighting, you know what I mean, and thing. So drop a like on the video for me. I'll leave a link in the description to this video. Watch Mojo. They always have some good stuff. Go check out their channel. See what they have, what else they have there. And, you know, let the love shine and thing, you know what I mean? You all take care of each other, alright? Cool runnings.